Hare Krishna. So, on behalf of ISKCON India ICC team, we welcome all the devotees, well wishers, friends to this wonderful podcast show. We are very, very indeed happy. This is part of our inspirational program. As you all know, ISKCON India has launched this Marathon Warriors program for this year's book distribution marathon program. And part of that inspiration program, last time we had Vaisheshika Prabhu, and before that, many other leaders had come and given inspirational talks on how we can improve book distribution, how we can enhance book distribution, thereby please Srila Prabhupada. So, part of that talk today, we are very, very happy, indeed, very happy, pleased. On our podcast show, we have with us His Grace Mahotsaha Prabhu. Hare Krishna Mahotsaha Prabhu.
Muted. Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Always Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhu. Welcome, welcome. So, I would like to briefly introduce you to Mahotsaha Prabhu. Actually, Mahotsaha Prabhu does not require an introduction. Everyone knows about what he's doing in book distribution, creating records after records, actually improving his own records. But just for my purification to make some clarity about the performance and the beautiful, wonderful things Mahotsaha Prabhu has done in Srila Prabhupada's movement. Mahotsaha Prabhu came in touch with ISKCON in a very early days. In fact, when he was in school, that time he was in Telangana in India, and then he came in touch with a kids program happening in ISKCON temple. And Prabhuji is a very intelligent person since the time of his birth. He has been creating many wonderful scholarships and many other accolades in his personal career. At a very young age, in his teenage, he got a chance to come for doing his computer engineering in New York City. So from Telangana, he came to New York City in 2012. And then when he was studying in the college there, in 2014, he came in touch with the devotees of the Hare Krishna movement. And I was very happy to know that Prabhuji, when he came in touch with devotees, he immediately entered, he stayed in the ashram. While doing his graduation, he was also in the ashram and practicing his sadhana and also going out regularly on Harinam and book distribution. And finally, in the year 2016, when he graduated, and he had a very lucrative offer of a very, very prestigious company and a big paying job. And Prabhu decided to go for the biggest payment, that is the love of Godhead and pleasing Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada, so with that idea, Prabhuji was involved in full-time book distribution and Harinam since then. So his journey began in Krishna consciousness in New York City. Currently, Prabhu with a team of 10 brahmacharis are having a center. They run a center in Atlanta. And the main focus of their preaching is book distribution. And through book distribution, they're cultivating, making new devotees and creating a great revolution. And that vibes from Atlanta is reaching all over the world. We're very happy that Prabhu is here, and also wish to also inform all our viewers here that the current record which Mahotsaha Prabhu is holding is he has on one single day on the street he has distributed around 2,341 Maha Big Book and 1,870 medium and small books. So in all, total number of books distributed by Mahotsaha Prabhu on the street one to one is 4,211, of which there are 50 Srimad Bhagavatam sets. Can you believe there are 50 Srimad Bhagavatam sets on the streets and 47 book stacks? So what is book stack we'll come to know later as we enter into the mode of question answers. So we are very happy to welcome Mahotsaha Prabhu. Let us welcome him with a loud chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mahotsaha Prabhu, thank you for joining us. This is the peak time, your time for book distribution, but you are coming out and giving us your valuable time. So you know that this will give a lot of inspiration in book distribution marathon in India. Thank you for joining Prabhu today.
Jai Prabhu, thank you. Before I start, I'd just like to say my Mangalachana praise. Is that okay?
Sure, Prabhu, please.
Om Agyanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupagadam Mahim Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Tafadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishavamsha Shri Rupam Sakajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagan Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitam Shya Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vikasa Swaminati Namine Nija Guru Harivanya Krishna Chitto Vichinto Parihita Pitrigehadhyanda Sangsara Kupaha Prabhu Bhajana Sakaptam Majayan Swamsa Vishwa Bhuvi Jayati Vikaso Bhakti Purvo Yatindraha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swaminati Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyati Deshatarine Vagisha Yasya Vadane Lakshmi Yasya Shivakshisi Yasyasya Hridaye Samvitam Nrisimamaham Bhaje Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Yasudeva Parabhaktir Yatha Devi Tata Guru Tasyati Kadita Hyata Prakashanti Mahatmanaha. So Hare Krishna Prabhu. So one of the things I wanted to clarify was I was never a super intelligent person. I was just a little above average. And I didn't get a extremely lucrative job offer because I was never interested in that. But yeah, I just wanted to clarify these 2 points.
Thank
No
you,
need.
Prabhu. Thank you.
Yes.
So, Prabhu, we'll begin with the very first, the first avenue where you began your book distribution. We want to ask you, the very first time you got a chance to go on the book distribution, hit the streets.
Uh-huh.
What was your experience, Prabhu? Because that's where everything begins with all the
Right.
devotees. The first experience.
Yeah. So my first experience on books was completely unplanned. I was, I was part of the Harinam ashram, and we were doing Harinam, and we were just chanting on the streets. And because I was still getting out of the influence of the different substances which cause tamagun in people's mind, I was still getting off of that. I couldn't really keep a beat so well. So the brahmachari leader or the Harinam leader, whatever title it may be, is Grace Ramroy Prabhu. He's from Vrindavan. I mean, he's from New York, but he's been a long time in Vrindavan. He just asked me to. He just yelled at me. He said, "Get out there!" And I said, "What do you mean, get out there?" He said, "Distribute books." And I said, "I don't know how to distribute books." Then he told me, "Don't think, just do." So then I said, "Okay, I guess I'm going to distribute books." And I was still wearing karmi clothes. I still had my long hair. I still had my long beard. I was still wearing karmi clothes. But then he asked me to go out and distribute books anyway. So then I thought, okay, here's my authority. I have to go and distribute books. And then I just started distributing books. And I remember the first day that I distributed books, I actually distributed 44 books in the streets of New York in Times Square subway. Actually, that's where it all started. Times Square subway, New York City. And then from there, I just thought it was a one-time thing, But then the next day, I was sitting on the mat. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm sitting on the mat." He said, "No, you have to distribute books." Then I just kept going like that, and it just basically never stopped ever since. I remember the first time I was shooting books. I don't even remember what exactly I told that person, but it was it was like a black person, I think, as far as my memory goes, and I don't remember what I told them, but I just gave them the books. They bought they bought a Bhagavad Gita soft and a Science of Self-Realization soft from me, and then they gave me $10, and that was like the biggest, like, wow. I was able to distribute books for $10, and I went and kept it in the basket, and like everyone was surprised because I was the first person I had approached, and then I kept approaching different people. I remember meeting like a Gujarati guy, and he gave me like $20. I'm like, this is amazing, and then just kept going like this and like this and like this and like that, and yeah, that's how it started. For me it's still quite a haze. I just cannot recall exactly how it was, but I was frankly speaking amazed. I was amazed that books were actually going on. Someone would take books from a person like me, and then I realized that I wasn't distributing the books, and it just went on like that. So that's the answer in short.
Thank you, Prabhu. So, Prabhu, just want to ask, a little curious about what are the different avenues you use for doing book distribution, and is there any very favorite avenue which you would like to always go and distribute books?
Okay, so we have quite a few avenues that we choose, but especially for me, honestly, my favorite place to distribute books, I'm unable to do it now because I'm all living in Atlanta. But for me, it was the Times Square subway. The Times Square subway was where it all began. Times Square subway is like, it's like an unlimited ocean of people, just like coming, and like, I that's where I came up with this 3-second rule where I wouldn't talk to, basically, like, the minute I'm done talking to someone, I should not wait for more than 3 seconds to approach the next person. When I'm done talking with one sale or one approach or whatever. And Times Square subway is like that's like the best. Like it is so many people. It's like coming at all different kinds of people, and it really that's honestly like my favorite place to distribute. But then more than Times Square, actually, now I really like distributing books in the Atlanta Hartfield Jackson International Airport, especially when we're inside. Especially when we're inside, we distributing books inside the Hartfield Atlanta Jackson International Airport is like Times Square times 100. It's so ecstatic. It's so amazing. It's like my most favorite place to distribute books is inside the Atlanta Hartfield Jackson International Airport. And then we also go to like different shopping centers, Walmarts. We distribute books in the Walmart parking lots. There's an Indian grocery stores we distribute books at. We distribute books in music festivals and universities, and all of them are really, really nectar. But the topmost, the Nigama Kalpataru, Galitam Phalam, for me, is inside the Atlanta Hartfield Jackson International Airport. There is no thing is so amazing as that, at least in my experience. I've honestly not experienced anything as awesome as the Atlanta Hartfield Jackson International Airport. But right underneath that definitely is Times Square. But number one is Atlanta Hartfield Jackson International Airport, inside the indoors.
Wonderful, bro. Wonderful. Prabhu, a sudden just an insight. I just want to ask you that you distribute so many books on the street in the airport, and definitely you don't give just one book. You may be giving many
No way.
sections.
Yeah.
So, like you mentioned about the book tags, and I came to know that you have some beautiful names for those tags. Can you
Right.
just share the names and how you came across those names for us?
Yeah, I can probably have a devotee bring the books just so we can see them, right? Hare Krishna. Hey Chandan, bro, yeah, can you get me the Sapta and the that we distribute, out of which we really, I guess our claim to fame, I guess, if that's the right word to say, right phrase to say, our claim to fame is the Saptarishi set that we actually distribute them, and like that's actually what's popularized throughout the world a lot. It's a set of 7 books that we have. It's the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, Nectar of Devotion, Christian book, Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, and the Science of Self-Realization, a Journey of Self-Discovery, or we swap it out sometimes with Nature's IQ. These are the different book sets that we have. Oh yeah, we can also show this one too. Yes, that's right. So this is one of the sets that we have. It's called the Saptarishi set. And can you get me a table, Marcy, so I can just keep them?
That's called Saptarishi, bro, right? Saptarishi?
Yeah. So
Why Saptarishi? Because
so
7 books?
the 7 books, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we came up with this because in Prabhupada writes in a letter in I'm forgetting which year, but Prabhupada writes that if one were to simply read the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, the Nectar of Devotion, and the Bhagavad Gita, and the Christian book, these 4 books, it's enough for them to go back home, back to Godhead. It's enough for them to go back home, back to Godhead. So this, Srimad, this Saptarishi said, that's the one we're really popular for, and our daily bread and butter. It's like this stack of books right here. It's called the Bhakti stack. And we have the Science of Self-Realization, the Bhagavad Gita as it is. Then we also have the Nectar of Instruction, and we also have the Spiritual Yoga right here. So we constantly swap it out. We constantly swap it out. We either have Nectar Instruction here. We have Coming Back. That's another really awesome book for Westerners. It speaks about the reincarnation and all that. So we have that. And another stack which we are really pushing a lot lately, especially to the devotee community, is the stack known as the Yatindra stack. It's all of my Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Vikas Maharaj's books, and we sell it to them along with the Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhava. So this stack is very popular amongst the devotee community. We're giving distributing the stack out to called the Yatindra stack. So, but for the common populace, these two stacks, we have the Saptarishi set and this Bhakti stack that we have. This is actually like where it's really at. And we distribute so many of these. But more than anything, now like we've gotten onto this whole Bhagavatam set revolution. But I can talk about it as the interview goes on. But does that answer your question, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you for that. It was amazing to see those beautiful stacks there. Prabhu, I'm going to ask you out of box question now.
Okay.
See, you're mentioning about the beautiful books there. I remembered one previous podcast you had, and you were mentioning about how that miracle took place when you wanted to get initiated from His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Maharaj.
Yeah.
And Maharaj was in Seattle,
Yeah.
and you were, I guess, in New York City, and you didn't have money, and then miracle took place on the book distribution. Can you share a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, of course. So I was very, very desirous of getting initiated by Bhakti Vikas Maharaj, and things were going really good, and like my temple president agreed, and this and that and this and that. But then, material world, something went wrong, in terms of agreements, disagreements, all these kinds of things. And, I was, my ticket, like the person who was supposed to book my ticket said he's not going to book my ticket anymore because there were some agreements and disagreements in this regard and that regard and that regard and this regard. So at that point of time, I was, the person who told me that he can't book my ticket or whatever. Before he left, and before I left that day, I told him, Prabhu, you see, if Krishna wants me to go, no one can stop me to go. And if Krishna doesn't want me to go, no one can make me go. So let's see what Krishna's desire is, And then I met this person, for the second time in my life. I went up to him and I met him, and I was, just talking to him. I distributed some books to him, and I told him that, I'm really trying to collect some Lakshmi to go meet my spiritual master. Can you please help me? And I want to get initiated by him. Can you please help me? And then he said, you know what? I have so many miles on my thing. Let me just book you your ticket right now. So the first person I approached right then and there, at that point of time when I approached, he bought me my ticket. And I went back and I kept the ticket on the person's table and told him, see, Krishna wants me to go, so I'm going. So that's how I got my, ticket.
Prabhu, that was really an interesting story, something like miracle. We often hear such stories in our Acharya's book or also in books of many devotees in the past. It's amazing to see that how you got connected to your spiritual master through that wonderful donation which came through book distribution. Prabhu, with that idea, I just want to ask one more question. There's one thing which always hinders in our book distribution is that we end up spending a lot of time with one person.
Yeah.
And then what happens? Then we just lose time. We in the whole thing, we don't do much of book distribution. How much time you spend on one individual on a book distribution?
3 minutes max. 3 minutes.
Only
3 minutes. And then within 3 minutes, you can figure out the whole thing, this and that. And then if I have to sell them a Bhagavatam, I spend around 7 minutes with them. But not more than that. Because it's simply a waste of time otherwise, It's simply a waste of time. Why waste that time doing this and doing that? 3 minutes is more than enough, more than enough time. Either they want it or they don't want it,
That's amazing, bro. That's amazing to know that 3 minutes and then you figure it out that this person is interested or not interested, and we move on to the next one, right?
Yeah.
And if you want to go through the Bhagavatam set, then 7 minutes.
Yeah, 7 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. But
maybe 10 minutes.
But yeah, other than that, we don't. That's the normal, that's the average.
I remember Vaisheshika Prabhu was mentioning more you show, more you sell. Right?
Yeah, true. It's true.
More you show, more. So I can see the practical experience, practical example of that particular statement from Prabhu there. So, Prabhu, one very interesting thing which I want to also know, which our viewers may also want to know, that you carry so many books, like 4,000 books in a
Mhm.
day.
Mhm.
How do you manage? Because it's not easy to carry those tags. And do you have a team, and what the role they play, and how you manage to do, how many hours you put in a day? Can you
Right.
throw
Yeah.
some light on?
The most important person of the team is the cook. You know, without him, nothing will happen. You know, the army runs on his belly. You know, so I'm very fortunate to have very ecstatic, very saintly, very amazing god brothers here who are like expert cooks. Sometimes, Kalki Prabhu, he cooks. I remember most of the time that I broke the world record, actually Kalki Prabhu cooked, and then Mitravan Prabhu, he also cooks. And then one time that I broke the record, and Chandan Acharya Prabhu, he also cooked. And one time I broke, we actually had we had a Bhakta called Bhakta Joseph that we had issued books to in Georgia State, and he started coming and living with us in the ashram, and he was, there, and then he got fixed up, and he just got initiated too. And then the last time, maybe like 1 or 2 months before his initiation, he cooked. Chitta Girish, he cooked. So the most important aspect is the cook, honestly, because like the way they cook, the devotion they keep, it like kind of all the credit goes to them. Really like all their devotion and all that, it just gets absorbed in the prasadam, and we take it and we get really inspired. And then, of course, most of the time when I've broken the record, I've with the exception of once or twice actually, I have a book distribution partner named Matsya Prabhu. He was Bhakta Matthew before, but Matsya Prabhu, he's always with me. He's like he helps me really distribute the books. And then one time I had another person, Bhakta Tyrese. He's also when basically all the devotees from Atlanta went to Europe, and it was me and him were the Atlanta Sankirtan team. We distributed 349 Bhagavatam sets.
Oh,
you know it was awesome. And then one more time I had my other friend Krishna Prasad Prabhu with me. But usually I have, so that the cook's the most important. Then I have one devotee who helps me. And then what we do is we actually have this we have like a few we have like four vans, three huge vans and one minivan. So like we can load up, each most of the big vans they can hold up to 60 to 65 Bhagavatam sets. And then like they have small books and Bhakti stacks and all these other stacks that it can hold. So you almost, it just miraculously happens that every time I've broken the record, I've always taken this one van. It's a Mercedes 2500 XD. It was donated by one of our devotees. His name is Avadhuta Chandra Prabhu. Donated by his father. His father is at least externally not. Okay, he's not a devotee per se. He's just he's a white man. Who really loves his son, and he donated this $60,000 worth of van, and he donated it to us on Radhashtami actually. And every time I go, I load up this van with these books. And as I'm distributing the books, Matsya Prabhu basically like he loads up like carts full of Bhagavatam sets, and he just brings them over. And I just distribute Bhagavatam sets. And sometimes I just distribute cart full of Bhagavatam sets. Sometimes I meet someone and they very readily accept to take one Bhagavatam set. I said, okay, if he's taking one Bhagavatam set, tell him, why don't you take four? You're anyway giving me 300, you might as well give me $1,200 and just take four Bhagavatam sets. So like three Bhagavatam, you might as well give me $1,000 and take three. And then most of the time they agree to take it, and they take like three Bhagavatam sets, sometimes two, three, four, four Bhagavatams. One time, yeah. One time I think I just the most, but that was to an office. But yeah, anyway, yeah, three or four Bhagavatam sets. People take them like this. So I always have like one devotee, and of course, goes without saying, all the brahmacharis who help us load the van, help me load the van. Sometimes I'm just like a spoiled brat. I send a message to temple commander Chandan Acharya Prabhu, and I tell him, yeah, I just want so many Bhagavatams and so many this and so many that. And then they're so kind to me. They load the van and just go sit in the van and like we drive there. But yeah, most of the time the devotees load the van. Sometimes even I help loading the van. But yeah, that's the way we do it in short.
thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you for that wonderful explanation and the names of the devotees you gave in your team. That was very nice,
And
very good.
most importantly, like the most important person, of course, is Vishnu Chitra Prabhu. He's our temple president who like organizes everything and facilitates. He facilitates our book distribution. In my, I guess, not so humble opinion, he's like one of the best temple presidents. And like he like he facilitates our book distribution, facilitates the prasadam, facilitates like everything that we do. So obviously, like after my Guru Maharaj, most of the credit goes to him.
So, Prabhu, this is my main question in the all question sets. Okay.
Okay, let's hear it.
Now,
The Parama question.
see, devotees who are in India here, they are all watching you because you are well known for distributing books. The best part is that you have experience of staying in India for the first 17
Yeah,
years of your life.
true.
At this time, I want to make a special request. Can you share some secrets because you have experience of being in India and now you are distributing all the books there in United States? What is your practical steps which you can suggest for devotees in India of how they can do massive book distribution one to one on the street like you?
Hmm.
Is it possible? If possible, please share
Obviously,
some experience.
obviously, it's possible. What's not possible? So, first thing, there is no question of spiritual life if you don't rise before 4 a.m. Okay, Prabhupada said this. There's no question of spiritual life if you don't rise before 4 a.m. Rise before 4 a.m. Attend Mangalarti, chant really good rounds. Don't eat karmi grains. Vishaira Anna Kaile Malin Habe Man. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, if we eat grains cooked by non-devotees, our mind becomes like stool. So do not eat karmi grains. Vishaira Anna Kaile Malin Habe Man. Do not eat karmi grains. Rise before 4 a.m. every day. Attend Mangalati. Chant all around. We should listen to a bona fide Bhagavatam class every day. Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya. And read Sri Prabhupada's books. That's really important. We have to stick to the program. Tripurari Maharaj, who Prabhupada called the incarnation of book distribution, went up to Prabhupada and he told Prabhupada, all these devotees are asking me like, what's my technique to distribute books? And I tell them that my technique is to chant 16 rounds attentively, attend the morning program, eat only prasadam, and Prabhupada said, yes, this is our technique. So that's the most practical step that one can take, anyone can take. One must be very focused on chanting their rounds. And ultimately, you see that Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddha Nitya Mukta Abhinatvam Nama Namina. That, the holy name of Krishna can fulfill all desires. So if we are just chanting our rounds and the only thing we are begging, from the holy name of Krishna is that we want to distribute more and more books, then how is it not possible? How is it not possible? It is possible. It's happened in the past. It'll happen again. It's happening right now. It'll not stop happening. So we should. This is the most practical thing. Like, I don't have any secrets. What secrets do I have? I mean, it's nothing. You can come and see what we're doing. It's nothing amazing. I mean, I guess it's amazing from one point of view, but another point of view, it's like it's the same standard program. Like if all fails, my Guru Maharaj was quoting this Bhakti Vikas Maharaj saying, if everything fails, we read the rule book. So we just read the rule book and we live by the rules that the acharyas gave. Prabhupada in one place writes, we must be pure devotees of the rules and regulations. So we just have to follow, be very strict, in our sadhana, be very strict in our practice, be very strict in, following Srila Prabhupada properly. And one book, which I strongly recommend everyone should read. And this really helped me in my book distribution is, this book right here is called On Speaking Strongly in Prabhupada's Service by Bhakti Vikas Maharaj. I strongly recommend everyone reads this whole stack of books right here, including the Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhava, but at least read this, On Speaking Strongly in Prabhupada's Service. This book completely revolutionized my Krishna consciousness once and for all together. You read this book, On Speaking Strongly in Prabhupada's Service, then it'll change the way. Once I read that book, my book distribution increased so much, because we read that book and if I'm trying to live by that book, and by living by this book and trying to do this, so many books are going out. So many of them are going out. So that's honestly the most practical thing to do.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for very nice, beautiful advice there in terms of having a strong sadhana and reading Prabhupada books. And the beautiful book of Bhakti Vikas Maharaj you recommended on strongly speaking.
Yeah, On Speaking Strongly in Prabhupada's Service.
Yeah. So, Prabhu, what do you think the scenario in America and scenario in India? Are they different or the same? Any way you can let us know how we can kind of speak to people and try to get the connection with because many people in India, they don't have time. They just, you don't even stop for even seeing the books. So what is your practical tips for that?
Yeah, I mean, I've never distributed books in India. When I was in India, I was like a big demon, and I was doing demoniac things, which all demoniac people do. So I have no conception of what it's like to distribute books in India. But one thing I can say, and like this is common in like many sports. It's like they have home team advantage. Home team advantage. Like if like India and Pakistan are playing a cricket match and you were playing in India, you kind of have like your home team advantage. Or like if two basketball teams are playing, the team that's hosting the match, and they know their basketball court very well, they know their rim very well, they know all these things very well. So we have home team advantage in India, because so many people, Prabhupada said, Indians, you just scratch the surface and you'll find Krishna consciousness. So that's obviously there. And in India, there's so many people, so we just have to learn. We can start off with the distributing books with the where it's easy to do it. If we just, I'm sure there's avenues to do it. Like I'm sure the devotees in ISKCON Tirupati are really empowered and they're really amazing and all these things. But it also adds to the fact that they're in Tirupati and they're distributing books in that holy place. So we should always use our intelligence to find the good spots and do all these things. But even still, like the way I distribute Bhagavatam sets to the Westerners here in America is I just basically go and I lay down the philosophy to them straightforwardly. I just tell them, frankly speaking, you're living like a hog and dog that eats too. This human form of life is not meant for this. You've attained this human form of life after so many births and deaths. Are you really going to give up on this opportunity to take this Bhagavatam set? And like, if we're really convinced of the philosophy, and we just have to speak whatever we learned, whatever we read, all these things, whatever we learned, whatever we read, if we simply speak all these things to the devotees, to the people who are trying to distribute books to, then naturally, the Bhagavatam will sell itself. Prabhupada said that we should try to sell the Bhagavatam on the merit of the Bhagavatam. And when I distribute books to the Westerners in America, they very easily agree to take it. They very easily agree to take it. They just are into it. They're very much into it. And there's in India, there's so many different kinds of Indians. But like Prabhupada said that every gentleman should have a full set of books. And I remember I met this person and I told I gave him, he's an Indian gentleman. I just recently met him in North Carolina. And then I told him that, my dear sir, honestly, you're living like a hog, dog, and camel. You're not really living your life properly. Prabhupada said that every gentleman should have a full set of Srimad Bhagavatam in his home. And you certainly look like a gentleman also, although you're living like this. And, I think, honestly, the perfection of your life will be to take the Srimad Bhagavatam set. And he took it like that. He took it like this. It's not so hard in one sense. If the desire is there, it'll happen. So that's honestly my 2 cents in this regard.
Thank you, bro. Thank you very much for the beautiful answer. I understand that though the question may be a little tricky in terms of U.S. scenario and Indian scenario are different. But personally, we have seen that as long as we keep our enthusiasm strong and have
Exactly.
a very good sadhana, then the place doesn't matter. You can do it
Yeah.
in America, in India, any place in India, Holy Dham or a
Not holy
metropolitan city as
now.
well.
Yeah. We just have to be extremely fired up. If you're fired up to do it, then there's no question of not getting the books out. If you're fired up, we have to be really enthusiastic. We have to be determined to do it. And like the more obstacles come, the more determined we can actually be. I remember I was shooting books in this music festival. Forgetting the name. Oh yeah, Halloween. It's called Halloween. It was in Florida, and we were shooting books in Florida. And I was with this new Bhakta, Bhakta Chase. He was with me, and we were distributing books from 10 to 10 to 10 to 10. And I was approaching people, and they weren't taking books from me. And almost like everyone and every other person that he had approached, they were taking books from him. And I was thinking, oh my God, is this the day that I'm going to be beat by like someone who's just been distributing books for 3 months? I really hope. I was really Krishna, please, help me. I was really, praying to Krishna so much. And all of a sudden, I came across this guy, and he was this white guy from Jacksonville. I think his name was Jake or something like this. And I just don't, I just told him like, wow, bro, like you look like so spiritual. Are you like a spiritual guy? Like, I am spiritual. I said, bro, you like books? He said, books. I love books. I read books all the time, and this and that. And then I just like, usually devotees don't do this when they're distributing books in music festival. But I was crazy enough to take a Bhagavatam set with me, even while we're distributing books in the music festivals. And I went and I showed him the Bhagavatam set. And the guy was so sold out to it that he immediately purchased a Bhagavatam set for close to $300. I think it was $275, between $275 to $300. He immediately swiped his card and bought the entire Bhagavatam set, That's why one of my god brothers, Amog Leela Prabhu, he said this one thing and it's like kind of stuck with me, and like, I share it with other devotees also. It's not what you say, it's what you pray. Bottom line, it's not what you say, it's what you pray. Like, how much are we really begging Krishna? How much are we really begging Krishna to please empower us to do it? How much are we really begging Krishna to do it? And the more we are praying to Krishna, the more like I remember even recently I was distributing books in the airport. I think I was in El Paso airport, and then I just came across this person. And they, and the thing is, in El Paso, most of the people, they didn't speak English, and I only had English books, and I had only about 7 of these stacks left, and I thought I have to distribute 7 of these stacks. Well, how can I go back with with some books left, So I was really thinking about what I could do, and I don't know if this is possible. If I sent you a video, it's a 30-second video. If I send it on WhatsApp, could it be like shared on the screen? Is that possible, or is that a question for Mahesh? I don't know.
Mahesh Prabhu, is it possible to share something now which Mahotsaha Prabhu can arrange for us?
If it's possible, that's fine. If it's not, that's totally cool.
Maybe some this technical hitch, Prabhu, but what you can do is you can share with me, and I will share with all the devotees.
Okay. So I sent him a video. I sent him the video.
Yeah.
Maybe
Thank you.
if it's possible, he can put it up. But I'll send it to you also.
So there are many sutras which I understood today is the sadhana part, the enthusiasm to please Srila Prabhupada, and the one just now you shared, it's not what you say, it's what you pray, right?
Yeah.
That was indeed a great one, Prabhu. That's what I feel that when you're trying to reach out the conditioned souls, people outside, to give them Prabhupada books, it depends on our mood and our enthusiasm, and that actually is very contagious. People buy books many times seeing us, and if you're very prayerful, we are asking for help, it does help. Thank you, Prabhu. That was really a great sutra which you have given us for a Marathon Warriors program this time. And you also mentioned, Prabhu, one thing that it doesn't matter where you go, where you distribute books. It's all the externals. It's all based on your enthusiasm. And I recollect, Prabhu, we can see that in the year 2020 and 2021 that we had the whole world was almost locked down. This first wave, second wave, like that, and then I still heard that you continued your book distribution even that time.
Oh yeah.
Even though it was not offline but online. Prabhu, can you share
Yeah.
some insights about your online book distribution during the COVID times?
Yeah. That was something else altogether, because we were living in New York. So we'll be moving to. Okay. Yeah. So we were in New York, and we had to pay $8,000 a month, and our only source of income was book distribution. So because our only source of income was book distribution, we had to figure out a way of doing it. We had to figure out how to do it. And because we had to figure out how to do it, I was just sitting outside and I was looking outside the window, and I just saw a grocery truck pull in with all the groceries. And I thought that, if the grocery truck can come and drop off all the groceries over here, then why is it not possible for Prabhupada's books to go? So then I started to, I really started working it up, and I started doing all these other, and then I started thinking that, what can I do? How can I do it? And then, I was on Facebook, and I had this habit of adding people on Facebook who bought books from me. I used to have this habit of doing it. So then I started jogging my memory and everything. I thought I approach this person, I approach that person, I approach that person, I approach this person. And by doing like this, I started messaging them, and they're all at home. They're all getting money from the government. So I was able to convince them to somehow or the other buy the Srimad Bhagavatam set online. And I just from there, the what's it called, the market, just kept expanding more and more and more and more. And I was just able to get into like all the different places, where people are favorable, like people are into it, people are not into it, and just started going at it like that. And I was at a certain point of time, I was even able to distribute books to people in different countries altogether. I remember people were in Russia. I tried distributing books with them, and what I would do was I would message them. I would use Google Translate. I would type a message. I would copy paste it, and then I would post it on the Messenger or Instagram or whatever. And they would send me back, and I would copy paste that message and put it on Google Translate and understand what they're saying. And like this and like that and like this and like that, I was able to introduce this book distribution even in the online field. And usually when you're distributing books on the States, most of the time your back hurts, your leg hurt, your this hurt, your that hurt. But the only part of my body which was hurting was my neck, because I was on my phone like this, like the whole time for 12 hours. And I would like stay up at like different time zones, trying to like approach different people. And I had like a certain goal. I think I wanted to do like at least a minimum of 6 or 7 Bhagavatams a day. And I was doing it, and I was doing it. I was just getting so ecstatic. And, we even got in with the wisdom of the sages, and we went and we distributed books to their crowd. And, all these different things. We somehow or the other, there was a desire, and Krishna like really pushed it forward. And, it came to such a level that I was distributing more books online than we were doing it on the streets. It consumed a lot of my energy and time and all these things. But one thing, my sadhana didn't go for a toss, so that was a good thing. But everything else, I was putting everything on the line to do it. And it happened. It happened somehow or the other. Krishna's mercy.
Oh, that was a good one. You told us about that how we are distributing online, and the whole part of your body was intact, and just the neck part because you were too much involved in holding a mobile and doing your online service. That brings a very important question. Many of our book distributors, even in India, who are doing book distribution throughout the year or marathon, the one thing which they face is that their health also goes down because you are on the street. So much of dust is in India. Then plus you meet so many people mentally exhausted, physically exhausted. So what do you advise to all our book distributors in India and also all over the world, how to manage your health and also be enthusiastic in the book distribution for many
You
years?
see, the thing is that marathon is there, and is the most important part of the year, and an entire life should revolve around the Prabhupada marathon. Of course, an entire year should revolve around the Prabhupada marathon. But we should also look at it marathon. It's something which you can last. It's not a sprint. A sprint is you run like real fast for a short period of time, a short distance, and you're done. But a marathon is like a super long term thing. A marathon means you want to distribute books, for an entire life. So we have to distribute books in such a way that is sustainable. Like even here, if I see like that the brahmacharis are all like they're like pushing themselves too much, or if they're on a burnout program, I immediately pull them back, or like if we do something different in order to make the devotees like be calm in their mind and in their body and all this. Even the brahmacharis, they were on a complete burnout program, and then like we changed the program to make it like a little more doable, and they started doing huge. Like I can proudly say like brahmacharinis, from the Krishna Life Ashram, they have been distributing Bhagavatams on the streets. So many, the two of them, at least two of them have. The rest of them have to start, but at least two of them did it in the, and then, they're able to do this kind of Bhagavatam distribution on the streets, and, the reason is that, we're able to balance it out. We're not pushing it too hard all the time. There's, you push, and you push harder, and you push, and you push harder. It's all about regulation, So we make sure about that also.
Great, oh, great. Prabhu, the time is not in our control here, but we want to ask one very, very vital question which always our devotees come and they tell us, maximum devotees in our ISKCON movement, they are very much shy. They say that in our whole life we have never approached anyone. What to speak of selling? We have not spoken. We have not come on a stage, on a scene. So, Prabhu, how is it possible that a general or a very shy person can go out and distribute books one to one? Can you give some advice for them,
Yeah, I mean,
Prabhu?
see, the thing is that the main problem which every book distributor faces, and it actually like becomes like a what's it called, like a mind block, or like a barrier or something that we have to come across, is this conception that we are distributing the books. And we think that we are going out there and we are doing something amazing and we are distributing the books. But you see, the most important thing to understand is that we are not the seer, we are the seen. You know, we're not seeing Krishna, but Krishna is seeing us. We're not the enjoyers, we're the enjoyed. We're not here to enjoy Krishna, but Krishna is here to enjoy us. And because we have this kind of mentality that we think that we actually, oh, I'm going out there, I'm seeing this, I'm doing all these things. But no, if we simply have the mentality that I'm out here to be an instrument of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, I'm going out here so Krishna can be happy with me, so Krishna can be pleased with me, so Krishna can actually realize, you know, that this person is sincerely trying. And Krishna is the one, you know, who's empowering and making all these things happen. You know, that honestly, as an honest to God truth, in my life, I haven't distributed a single book so far. Never have I ever distributed a book. All the books I've distributed by my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Maharaj. He's the one who's using me as his instrument. He's the one who's sending me the people. He's the one who's giving the intelligence as to what I should say, what I should not say. And by doing this, you know, he's the one who's doing it. And every time I remember it, I'm able to do, you know, so many more books, so many more books. Instead of thinking I'm the doer, or I'm so shy, I am like this. Who said it's about you? It's not about you. Who do you think you are? You think you're some very special person, like, I am so shy, I am going out and I'm you know, if you think you're the doer, you'll be crushed by the material energy. Prakriti kriya manani gunai karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudhatma karta hamiti manyate. You know, it's foolish. It's foolish to think you're not reading the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita that you're not the doer. Why should we think we're the doer? We're not the doers. This is foolish. So devotees should understand, I am shy, I am this, I am that. Who cares who you are? No, it's not about you. It's not about you. It's about Krishna. It's about Prabhupada. Was Prabhupada, you know, did he know how to hang out with all the hippies and make them chant and dance? Did Prabhupada know how he's going to live in New York? Did Prabhupada know? Did Prabhupada have like a 5-6 jet planes take him here and there when he first came? No, he came on a ship. He suffered for us. Prabhupada did so much. Prabhupada didn't know us, and he still gave everything he possibly had to do. So we can't get over our mental hangups and go show people Prabhupada's books and try to sell it to them. It's so ridiculous. It's completely stupid. It's foolish, actually. We should understand that the most important thing is not what you say, it's what you pray. You go out there, you pray to Prabhupada, you pray to Krishna. You know, I'm out here for you. Okay, I'm out here. I'm doing my. You know, I'm out here as your representative. Will you please give me the intelligence to go and do it? And we have to get over our mind. There's this really awesome verse in the Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 11, text number 17. And I quote this verse so much. Bhrativyam enam tadabhadra viryam upekshaya yetitima pramattaha. Gurur Hare Charnopasana so Jahi Velikam Swayamatma Mosha. That we have our mind. Our mind is our greatest enemy. There is no greater enemy to us than our own mind. And what is the weapon with which we conquer our mind? Gurur Hare Charnopasana. The way we conquer our mind is we lift up the astra, the weapon of service unto Hari and Guru. And by doing this service, then we learn to conquer the mind. If we go out there, you know, sometimes I see devotees, like, you know, they go set up a table and both of them are out there setting up a table. And so many people are walking by here and then they're just talking to each other, having a big social scene. Why are you wasting a human form of life? Why? Why can't we just get our act together and go out there and do the needful? You know, it's like that's the point. You know, many people think, oh, I'm so shy, I'm like this, I'm like that. You're not shy, you're not a man, you're not a woman, you're not Indian, you're not American, you're not African, you're not whatever you are. You Jiva Swarup Krishna Nityadas. We're eternal servants of Krishna. And most importantly, we're eternal servants of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada is our grandfather. Prabhupada gave everything for us. So we need to learn to be worthy grandchildren of Srila Prabhupada. We need to, like, you see, otherwise, if you're not trying to be worthy grandchildren of Prabhupada, and it's not that the results, like, only if you do so many books you're considered worthy, but if you sincerely try, out there, that's what Prabhupada wants. What's 4,000 books for Krishna? Krishna can make every house already have a Srimad Bhagavatam set, but it's His mercy upon us. He's able to let us do books. We are not the doers. We should not be a mudha. Should not be this mudha thinking ahankara iti prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudhatma. Out of false ego, we think, oh, I'm so cultured. How can I go and ask someone for a donation? This is bogus. It's completely bogus. Understand our real identity. Parampara jano bhalo mate. And if we think it's below our dignity to distribute books, or we're too shy to distribute books, if Prabhupada taught me that how much below his dignity it is for him to come and preach to the hippies in New York. So it's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense.
Wonderful, Prabhu. Wonderful. That was so inspiring to hear you, Prabhu. And those viewers, devotees who have joined late, I just want to again reiterate, we have with us His Grace Mahotsaha Prabhu here from Atlanta, USA. And Prabhu is a very well-known book distributor all over the world, especially the current record which Prabhuji holds at this time is on one single day, 1-1 on the street, 4,211 books of Srila Prabhupada distributed. So thank you, Mahotsaha Prabhu, for joining today. And I wish everyone who joined us on the podcast and who are going to hear us in future will get inspiration, because there was no magic, there was no big miracle which Prabhuji shared. It was simple, straight logic, straight things from Prabhupada's books, sadhana, enthusiasm, prayers, and how we can go ahead and ahankar, no ahankar, just be the instrument in the hands of Guru and Krishna. So,
Yeah.
Mahotsabu, thank you for enlightening us this evening in India here.
Yeah. Thank you
Yes,
so
you want
much.
to add something?
What do you say? Sorry.
I said, you want to add something, Prabhu?
Yeah. I wanted to actually introduce all the book distributors. It's not just me distributing the books here. We have a whole team of book distributors, and if you don't mind, it's going to take a minute or
Please,
two
please,
more.
sure.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
just
Prabhu.
we can do it. I'm just going to call up Chandan and see what's going on. Just give me a minute.
So, Mahotsav Prabhu is very enthusiastically distributing Srila Prabhupada's books all over USA, especially he is based in Atlanta. And as we heard from this presentation, that he distributes the maximum in Atlanta and International Airport. And Prabhu shared very quite beautiful insights about how he approaches people, what are the different types of books he sells, the stacks, and also simple techniques of how he manages sadhana, his health, his enthusiasm in Krishna consciousness while distributing Srila Prabhupada's books. And Prabhu is here to also introduce us to his entire team. We have wonderful devotees with him who are part of the team of this wonderful big sacrifice of Sankirtan Yagya here. Prabhu, are you ready with your team?
Yeah, Prabhu. So you can ask Mahesh to switch the camera. The devotees are asking him to switch the camera. So if you can please ask him to do that.
Okay, Mahesh Prabhu, can you switch the camera as Mahotsav Prabhu is asking you?
Oh, he's asking which camera. Okay, so I'll just take this camera to the temple room then, if that's
Yeah.
fine. Okay.
How much time that will take, Prabhu?
It will take
Just
30 seconds.
okay, that's good. No
Okay.
issue. Yeah, sure.
Chandan. Yeah, probably he doesn't know how to do it. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, let's just take the camera.
So while we are waiting for Mahotsav Prabhu to come back and introduce us to his team, uh, we are here on part of the ISKCON India ICC team, and as you all know, the program for book distribution marathon is called as Marathon Warriors. And since last 1 month, our marathon is going on since 15th November, and we'll continue our marathon till 15th January. And we're almost midway through the marathon. And those devotees who are already doing book distribution and those devotees who aren't yet started book distribution, we feel that this podcast of Mahotsav Prabhu will be a very, very vital book distribution inspirational seminar by which devotees will gear up and increase their book distribution or begin their book distribution whatever way possible. So the most important thing I would like to thank the ICC team for designing or thinking about this particular seminar of how we can reach out to wonderful devotees all over the world who are putting their heart, their energy in Srila Prabhupada's service in distributing these books. So
Wonderful
here we
devotees
are.
all over the world who are putting their heart, their energy in Srila Prabhupada's service in distributing these books. Wonderful devotees all over the world who are putting their heart, their energy in Srila Prabhupada's service in distributing these books. Wonderful devotees all over the world who are putting their heart, their energy in Srila Prabhupada's service.
I think that that video has gone on loop. Can you hear me there? And yeah, can you quickly introduce yourself? That will be nice for all of us. I mean, all of us here in India would like to know the whole thing.
So, Chandan, what happened with the audio? Yeah, I
Can
can't
begin.
hear.
We
Hare
are
Krishna.
hearing. We are hearing you.
So, Prabhu, so this is, fix this. So, Prabhu, this is Vishnu Chitta Prabhu. He's our temple president. He's the one who's actually making all this. He's facilitating all of book distribution. He's the one who's actually making it happen. You know, we don't do much here. It's him mainly. And come, Abhi, come, one second. So this is Abhimanyu Sudha Prabhu. He's our he's trying to be the second best book distributor here. He's succeeding so much. They distributed so many Bhagavatam. How many? Just a few Bhagavatams.
Oh, no, it's like
He's trying to distribute more Bhagavatams every day. You know, he's from Mississippi, Mississippi.
Yes.
And then Matsya Prabhu. He's the devotee who is most of the time helped me distribute the most amount of world records and all that. He's from North Carolina here. You know, and he's distributed Bhagavatams too, Trace, Avadut. So this is Bhakta Trace. You know, he also distributes so many books every day. This is our whole Sankirtan book distribution team. Avadut Chandra Prabhu, you know, he's also from here. He's the one whose father donated the van to us. Beautiful van, Sankirtan van. And then Jita Girish Prabhu. He's the one who cooked the prasadam on one of the days too that we broke the world record. And then Nally. This is Bhakta Nally. He's also from North Carolina. He also distributes books every day in the airport. And this is Bhakta Nick. Nick, come here. He's the one he's the first person one of the first people who came to us on the program. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He bought a Bhagavatam set from me in Atlanta, everything. This is Bhakta Nick here. And then this is Bhakta Tyrese. You know, he's the one who also helped me break the world record. This is Bhakta Tyrese. And then, we are very happy that all these Western devotees have joined us and just learned to distribute books. But what we're really, really, really proud about is we have so many Matajis. Please come.
You can come over here.
Bhagavati Mataji, you can start with her. So, you know, the Matajis, they are we are very, very proud of them actually. They all distribute books.
Otherwise, not gonna be seen. You can come right here.
All of you can come.
Where that? Now you move to the other side. You can come in with this brown.
So they all joined, from distributing books in Atlanta here, and they've come and they're distributing books every day. They distribute Bhagavatam sets. Over here, Bhagavati Mataji, she's the one who is taking care of all the Matajis over here. So they're all distributing books here every day. You're going out as much as possible. So yeah, it's not just a one-man show. It's a whole team, and we're all out here distributing books. And we'd like to beg the devotees for their blessings to help continue this book distribution. So thank you, Baldev Prabhu. Thank you so much for having us here. It was certainly an honor.
Thank you very much for introducing us to your super team.
Hare Krishna.
And we all thought you are Superman and you have a super team there. And you please give us super blessings so that we can do super book distribution in India here.
Jai.
Thank you, Prabhu, for joining us today.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all viewers for joining us today. And we hope and pray that we get some beautiful inspiration from this program. And we'll be back again with many more inspiration programs in near future. Till then, have a nice, happy book distribution marathon going on. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.